Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to Dr. Inawati. So for today, our group will present mini project 12. So for mini project 12, we will do a several testing from BCAS broadcast server hello and UDP client hello. So for my part, I will do the first case, that is the server will use wildcard address, and at the client we use for the first test. For the first setting, we use my IP address. So let's run the server first. So hello, and at client. So for the first, using IP, we can connect to the broadcast server. So next, we try using FQDN. So using FQDN, it is so connected. Next, we're using broadcast address. Yes, it is also connected. Next, we're using wildcard address. That's client side, and yes, it is also connected. Server is a client. So next, we want to using the broadcast at client side, and it is also connected. Next, we're using server host as str socket.addr broadcast. And it also connected. We can send greeting, receive hi client, welcome to the behavior server, and it's from 192.168.22.140. And the last test for this is using limited broadcast address, that is 255.255.255.255. So it also can connect it. So for my case, by using wildcard address, we can connect it to all of these address. So next part.
Okay, now continue to the next case, which is still in wildcard address, but we insert the string socket in a DDR_any. So now we run the server. So we start the server. So you can see that because it's wide address, the binding will go to the 000 show, because it's wildcard, because it's wildcard, so there is no specific address. So then we go to the UDP client. So at first testing, I will connect it, the client, which is my IP address. Run it. You can see it. There is connection. We can connect, the client can connect to the server, and server can send greeting to the client. So next we go to the FQDN. So I will comment this one and open. Yes. Yeah, this is from before this we use the IP address. This still is my IP address. The next I use my FQDN. So FQDN can connect, the client can connect to the server. You can see server. So next we continue to using my broadcast address. We run it. Here we also can run. Okay, we also can connect the client to the server using the broadcast, our broadcast, which I use is 192.168. And next I go to the, okay, this is the wildcard. This is also the wildcard. we run it, and here it's like wildcard. It's like how IP address, our IP address go to the server IP address with the same address, we can connect. So also the wildcard can connect to its the other wildcard. Wait, okay, next we continue to the broadcast. Broadcast. Yeah, broadcast, and we run it. So we yeah. So send greeting from the server to the server using the broadcast. So the server can get the what we call the the greeting from the client. Yeah. So and then we send the welcome message to the client back. So next we go to the so this is also the not wildcard. This is under broadcast, but there is what we call the wildcard. This is like a wildcard, but for the broadcast. Comment it. So it's so you can see here there also a connection here. There's also connect, so the client can connect to the server, then it should send the greeting to the server, and server will send a welcome message. And lastly is the broadcast. Okay. So run it. Okay, now you can see it. So you can support to the server using the broadcast address. So the server will get the what we call the message, the greeting here, hi UDP, and it from the, the what we call the UDP client, and then we will continue sending a message to the client, and the client will receive it. So after that, after we done this, we can kill it. 8, 9, 1, 5, bam, and then it will terminate. So from this, we can conclude that the wildcard, if we using the wildcard, so it can connect to any, because it's like you put an empty option, you so the client can put any address at here to connect to the server. So continue to next one.
So for my part, here I'll be testing the second case, which is using the broadcast address. So firstly, I'll be testing this address, which is a broadcast, and all of this address testing. So firstly, I'll be trying the IPv4 of my computer. Let's open the server, and then open the client, which you can see it is not connected. I'll be trying to see the next. Which is the FQDN, also not connected. And then try to use the broadcast address. And it also cannot connect to the server. Unless we will use the wildcard address to see whether it's connect to the server or not. It also cannot connect to the server. This is because the reason why we'll not getting the message is because the server send it to the endpoint, that is not listening for messages. When while we using the UDP protocol, it is not guaranteed that we will get the message. And but the server send the message successfully to the endpoint, to the non-listening endpoint, which will be waiting there forever. And then we'll be using the next broadcast, the next address testing, which is the broadcast. For the next case, we'll try. As you can see, it is connected because it is a broadcast and the broadcast address for the client, for the server. And then it is successful. We'll try the wildcard for the broadcast address. And we also connected to the server. Here, for the last test, we'll be using the broadcast address, which is 255.255.255. It is also connected to the server. And this is the end of my part, so I'll be passed to the next.
Korang dengar Azan tak? Tak dengar eh? Okay, boleh eh? Okay. Okay, so for my part, okay, I will up the server using the server host, which is from broadcast address, server host str socket dot inaadr broadcast. So first we up the server first. All right. So for the client, UDP client, firstly we test using my IP address. Okay. So it not connected fully because it just can send greeting to the server and the client cannot receive the message from the server. Okay. Then next we try from my FQDN. Also same, is not connected. The third one, FQDN pula. Ni dah try tadi. Sorry, my bad. Okay, this is my FQDN. Okay, so also it's not connected. The third one is from the broadcast IP address. Yeah, same also, the result is same as earlier. So the last one we try to test for the wildcard broadcast address. Okay. All right, so the result is still the same as Muzammel did. So okay, next we will try to test using the broadcast. Okay. First we close this first, then we open it. Okay, then we run. See, from the broadcast it can connect it, sends greeting to server broadcast, receive hi, welcome to UDP hello server by from this IP. And then next, okay, it's also connected. The last one is try to use the broadcast IP address. Okay, so it's also connected. So this is dia boleh connected broadcast dengan broadcast sahaja. Selain daripada itu, dia tak dapat connect. Okay, saya rasa itu sahaja daripada saya. Terima kasih. Thank you.
All right, next we are going to use 255, 255, 255, 255, which is the local broadcast address. First, we're going to use our IP address. So it's connected. Next, we're going to use RFQDN. And it's also connected. Next, we're going to use our broadcast address. Oops. So I think I made a mistake. It should be connected because I didn't comment this one. Sorry. So for this one, I think it's not going to be connected. Next, we use wildcard. And it's also not connected. Next, we use broadcast. And it's connected. Next, we use string socket dot in ADDR underscore broadcast. It's also connected. Next, we use 255, 255, 255, 255, which is the broadcast address. And it's also connected. Next, we're going to use this one, which is the broadcast address for this computer. Going to start using this IP address. First, we're going to kill this first. So with IP address, it will not connect. Next, we use FQDN. And it's not connected also. Next, we use the broadcast address. And it's connected. We use wildcard. It's not connected. Next, we use broadcast. It's also not connected. Next, we use string socket.inaddr underscore broadcast. It's also not connected. And lastly, we use 255, 255, 255, 255. And it's also not connected. Right, so I think that's all.
That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.